This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Profitability Movement. Google Profitability-Movement to join this community of business owners focused on building profit, increasing wealth, and giving back. Thank you for joining us. Here's how we will help your business and you today. What if you had a tool that could help you increase your profits by streamlining your projects and completing them on time? The tool exists. It's called JobTread. You might recognize the JobTread name. A few episodes ago, Carolyn Cromines talked about integrating all the legal forms you need for jobs with JobTread. My guest today is Eric Fortenberry, founder and CEO of JobTread. He will give you the details on how to use the software to increase productivity and profitability. Eric, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thanks, Ruth. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you. Carolyn talked about it and it's like, okay, I got to have the man behind the scenes on talking about what reality is, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the reason behind JobTread. Why did you start doing it? What was the frustrations that you saw? Things like that.
Absolutely. So I actually first built JobTread out of a needs basis while I was running a general contracting firm here in Dallas, Texas. It was a buddy of mine was running the company, and he was just struggling to scale the business, and knew that I had a lot of experience building software company before that, and just was pretty good at processes and automations and streamlining and scaling businesses. And so he asked me to come over and just kind of take a look at what they were doing. And when I walked in, I immediately realized that just everything was paper based. I saw the guys coming in from the field, turning in their paper timesheets, and it went into a binder, and then it went over another place, and so much like manual data entry. And I just immediately was like, man, like, you guys need some software. And that's when I really kind of did a deep dive and went and I looked at all of the software out there, from BuilderTrend and CoConstruct to Procore to everything. Tried it all out, but like, I struggled to make a recommendation for which one they should implement, because I could tell that the software was either like super antiquated, looked like it would take a lot of customization, it would require someone dedicated full time to set it up and manage it, or it was super expensive. And the guys were like, well, I mean, you're a software developer, can't you just build us something? I was like, well, I don't want to create another one-off that you're going to have to maintain. And they kept pushing me, and so essentially I agreed to take over as the CEO of the company. I told them I'd give them 1 year. Everything I built though was going to be my intellectual property in case I had an opportunity to go and create my next software company from this. And essentially we started at the beginning of building out our job budgets and estimating. And then that led to, job costing and managing, the schedules and all the project management. And then, we capped it off with, the accounting, the invoicing, syncing it into their QuickBooks. And, at the end of the day, at the end of that 1 year, we had grown them from 5 to 8 million in sales, and we increased their gross profit by 43%. And it was at that point where I realized that this was too good to leave sitting with this one company. And so at that point, as I told them going in, I'd give them 1 year. I went and recruited some of my developers from my last company, and we started JobTread in 2019 and spent, several years kind of building. And, the developers who are much better developers than me, they, recreated it, rebuilt it, set it up where we could provide this to, many contractors. And, we basically started selling it in the beginning of 2021. Took it to about 200 contractors that year. And then, this year, 2022 has been a really awesome year for us. We'll probably end around 1,000 contractors. So it's really blown up on us. And, and so that's kind of how we got it started. But, at the end of the day, it's really been through our partnerships with all of our customers that have helped us continue improving the platform and adding new features and, trying to just listen to our customers and what they need.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really great story. 43% increase in profit net, right?
That was an increase in their gross profit.
In gross profit. Okay. Well, then the net drops out of the gross profit. It's okay. It's still 43%, one way or the other.
I mean, my original advice to them was they might as well just go to Vegas and roll the dice, because it was a total crapshoot on how they were going to perform on any one job. Like they didn't have a good handle on really even how they were estimating the jobs. You know, I mean, some of these guys had been doing it for 20, 25 years. They could look at a project and come up with some sort of a number out of their head. But, you know, the problem with that is then when you turn that over to a project manager and say, all right, now go get our 30% profit margin, then it was very difficult for that project manager to understand how they came to that. Sure. And what was going to be involved in it. And so, and then we found some of the salespeople, they were using markup to calculate the sales price instead of, using the margin. Yeah. And, obviously that, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot right out of the gate on all of those deals. And then, not keeping track of the job cost. Like, we had so many times where we had, tons of extra materials on a job, or we got, double billed by one of our subs. Just so many ways that you can, essentially lose money on a job. And so, when we started tracking it, what do you know? We're able to now hit our target profit margins.
How about that? Yeah, we'll get you even one further past, the gross profit, and we'll get you into the net profit per hour part of it too, because it's the next step with respect to pricing from there. But so who is the typical user of JobTread? I know Carolyn talked about all the legal things that come in, and you can put everything in from the legal perspective and have all the contracts and all the things that you have to do from a legal perspective. But
Sure.
Who is the perfect contractor for you?
I mean, we've really been very intentional about building JobTread in a way that it's extremely flexible, and it can be, customized and adapted to really any type business that, is a jobs-based business. So if you're running construction jobs, then, we're a great fit for you. And so, we've got probably, I'd say, about a third of our customer base is, like remodelers, kind of just maybe some small additions. We've got probably the next biggest, we've got home builders in there, pool builders, deck builders, but then the rest of it is, a lot of individual trades. At the end of the day, if you have to go out and custom bid a job, that's where it's extremely important that you build a budget, your numbers, what that job's going to cost you, so that you can accurately price it. And so it's really any jobs-based business. Now, I'd say as we're still fairly young and early. I mean, it has been more rapidly adopted by the smaller and medium-sized businesses. A lot of them are, may have, a couple employees, maybe 5 to 10 employees. They may use a bunch of subcontractors though. Some of them, they'll have their own kind of internal crews that are employees. But it's certainly, right now the majority is the residential, small and medium-sized businesses that are on here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Before we take a break, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and has questions about JobTread, where do they go?
Yeah, I'd say probably best place is going to be on our website, www.jobtread.com. We're also all over social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. You right on our website though, there's tons of information. There's videos. You can directly schedule a demo. You can pick a time that works for you. That'll get you set up with someone on our sales team who can walk you through the platform. We want to make sure it's going to be a good fit for you. So yeah, I mean, the website would be a great starting point, and we make it easy to get connected and hop on a Zoom to get a live demo.
Great. Okay. For everybody who's listening, it's JobTread, TREAD. So want to make sure you spell it right so that you go to the right website.
Yep.
We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense.
Many times, relatives are recruited to do your company's books without knowing how to do the books. Or you hire a bookkeeper who really doesn't know bookkeeping. If this is you, then your books are probably inaccurate. You probably pay more taxes than you should, and you rarely look at a P&L and balance sheet because you know they are wrong. What do? Have your bookkeeper enroll in Ruth King's Contractor Bookkeeping Basics. After completing this online course, your bookkeeper will know bookkeeping. You'll get accurate financial statements that help you make good business financial decisions. To enroll, click on the link in the show notes or call us at 770-729-0258. Enroll today.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I am with Eric Fortenberry, who is the CEO of JobTread. And before the break, we talked about how you got started with the need and one customer. You know, some of the questions that might be going through some of our listeners' minds are, okay, this guy was on paper. You know, how long did it take to go from paper to something that is streamlined? You know, and I assume that a lot of our listeners are no longer on paper, but, you know, on average, for somebody to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to do this, how long does it normally take, and what do they normally have to have ready to make it an easy, smooth transition?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ruth. You know, and so I'd say that it really depends on, you know, kind of how fast you want to go to implement it. So we have included with all of our JobTread subscriptions, you've got unlimited implementation, training, support. And so we've got a getting started program where, you know, if you want to sprint through it and you're dedicated and you can, you know, block out time and make it happen, we could do it in a week. You know, if you want to walk through it, you know, you could do it in about 2 weeks. If you want to crawl and take your time, you know, you could do it over the course of a month. You know, we've certainly seen people, though, you know, sign up and, you know, within that first day, they're sending out estimates and proposals and collecting signatures. And so it really, I would say, kind of however fast and however much time you can devote to it. We have a lot of training videos that are all on our help desk, which is built directly into the app. That'll help kind of get you going. They're usually, you know, 15 to 30-minute videos, so you can, you know, kind of get the overview and go through that getting started checklist that we provide you. But at the end of the day, like, the thing that I think is probably the most helpful is when people do have, you know, a spreadsheet or something that they can essentially show us how they're currently building out their job budgets. You know, if you can share that with our customer success team, you know, we can typically take that and we can help get that imported for you. You know, at the end of the day too, if you've got, you know, any sort of price sheet or list of materials, your most common, you know, cost that your, you know, both your labor and your materials, you know, whatever you have today, anything you can share with us, we can help you get that formatted and get that imported for you to just kind of accelerate that onboarding process.
Mm-hmm. So if I have somebody who is in the office, can I dedicate it to that person to do this, so I, as the owner, don't have to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I would say that, you know, we definitely recommend, and especially like when you're going through the process and doing a demo, you know, the thing that I did when I implemented this first is I tried to get everyone who was going to be, you know, involved in the program. I tried to get them involved as early as possible so that I could have their buy-in and make them feel part of the process. And then it's not just me coming and saying, hey, we just bought this software and now you got to go figure it out and use it. You know, it's important to have that collaborative approach so that everyone's bought in going into it. But yeah, I definitely recommend having somebody be your point person, you know, kind of be that person who's going to go through the training, you know, go through the implementation and get it set up. And then obviously whenever anyone else in the office has questions, you know, they may go to that person, you know, and that person, if they don't know, they could reach out to our support team, you know, or they can contact, you know, anyone can contact us directly. But, you know, it definitely helps to have somebody who is going to, you know, be the point person within your office.
Yeah, I've got to ask the question. All these old guys who are so used to turning in a paper timesheet, how did you get them electronic? Sometimes that is so difficult to do.
Sure. Well, you know, it's and I have a funny story. So when I was at the GC first building this out, you know, I had this one particular gentleman who, you know, he was just extremely, you know, anti-technology, anti-change, you know, just very resistant to changing anything. And the way that I handled it with him is that, you know, I involved him. I sat down with him. I said, hey, like, tell me about all your challenges. Tell me, like, you know, in your day to day, like, where are your bottlenecks? Like, what are you spending the most time that is just, you know, taken away from you being able to focus on the most important aspects of your job? And, you know, I listened to him and I said, okay, if I could come up with a solution that would help, you know, improve those pains that you're having and make you more efficient so you could focus on, you know, the more important critical task, you know, would you be open to that? you say, well, I guess, still pretty hesitant. But when I came back to him, I said, okay, look, here's how, I think we can solve those problems. And I showed them, the solution. He actually got very excited. I think it was just about, again, engaging with those people, making them part of the process. And, at the end of the day, that guy actually turned out to be the biggest champion of the system and would get on to everybody else when they didn't put in their schedule or they didn't, kind of enter the data the right way. Like he went from being my biggest, kind of most resistant person to my champion. And, I think it just goes to show that, like, you got to sit down, you got to, talk to people and understand, what are their challenges, and then show them directly how this can help them, with their job and how it can make them more efficient. And, at the end of the day, I think that's ultimately what'll do it for you. And I've heard tons of success stories about people who went into this saying, this guy over here, he's going to be the one that's going to be the most resistant. And, we come back, 3-4 weeks, 6 weeks later, and you hear how they've picked it up. They're loving it. It's pretty easy to use. Sometimes it just takes, providing a little bit, more hands-on training, walking them through it, just, one-on-one, and we're happy to do that. We also, can create, videos specifically for that person focused on their specific role and how they'll use it. Because sometimes it does take getting your data in there for them to really be able to, kind of understand how they will use it versus just watching a general training video or just something with, some generic data. When you can show them your data, your company's data, and how, it'll work at your company, then it can be a lot easier for them to be able to adapt it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you did it exactly right. You've got to sit them down. You've got to say, okay, what's your problems, challenges, what are your pain points, however you want to say it. And, show them, okay, let's, if we could solve it, you'd be interested. And of course, they're going to say yes to that.
Yep.
And then go do it and show it to them. And it's like, oh, this might be easier.
Yep. When they can be out in the field and they've just got all the information at their fingertips on their mobile device, it really is a game changer. Where, the older model, you might have to wait till you get back to the office and pull out your computer or, look something up. Like, just giving them that access where they can get that information instantly in the palm of their hands. It really is a game changer.
Yeah, it's much easier for them. And once they try it and they realize it's not hard, it's like,
Yep.
So Eric, give us the website one more time.
Yeah, it's www.jobtread.com. That's JobTread.com.
Great. Well, thank you for being with us, and I wish you well.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Ruth.
All right. And thank you, all of you, for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable